Welcome back to Uzi Talking To with part 2 with me, Jeff, and Jay Aldcroft, yeah? So, Jay, you've talked about what's happening. You've joined the Kings Regiment, you're in C Company, 7th Platoon, and you get shipped off to the jungle.
Yeah, so goes to Belize, Central America, mate, and gets there, and that was my first initiation, staying away with the lads and stuff like that, because at the platoon, I've got to be honest with you, it was full of madheads. Like, it was, but great madheads, great people. You know, when you look back and they give you a good pedestal in life, it's a good springboard, because there's so many different personalities, so many strong characters.
Could you name a few?
Yeah, well, there was Errol Gale, obviously. I think he was very, very famous in the battalion.
Big exec.
Yeah, brilliant. And he'd always give, the good thing about Errol is, he'd always give you values. So he'd always have little chats with you. He wouldn't just like tell you, he'd say, you've got to live by these values and these standards. And he was quite keen on that. And he'd always say, then we had Eric Tomo, Foxy, Eddie Kinez, Phil Bold. So you've got Brewy, Evo. So there's just a mad concoction of people.
I mean, you mentioned the names there, which are like all characters which people do know, but they all make successful like sorts of careers and other things.
And you can see why they were all like outgoing people. You know, they spend time with you, but they were all strong characters as well.
Is Errol still in there? I keep on seeing Errol in combat, so is he still doing something?
To tell you the truth, I'd love to speak to him and have a chat with him.
Get him on here.
Yeah, get him on.
He made my nose a lovely shape, along with the merry bunch of men. So anyway, you're in the battalion at 7th Platoon in Belize. Anything about Belize which you thought, well, this is getting leery, you know?
Yeah. Belize was just a crazy place. We went and done a 2-week jungle training, and there was the SAS and stuff like that, and you learn how to survive in the jungle. And it was crackers. Like, you're sleeping of a night, you can hear all mad stuff and stuff like that, and there's stuff going past you, and it was really an eye-opener.
That's right. You couldn't sleep on the floor on the used to make A-frame. Is that
A-frame hammocks.
Don't sleep on the floor. Just like Roman ants coming past like arms. Got the buttons on.
Crackers. I always remember when we were doing the training, Jeff. We were doing it, and then there was fellas in boats and the engineers, and I said, "What are you there for?" As we're just doing a river crossing, you can put all your stuff in bags, and you're just about to float over on your bergen. And he goes, "Oh, we're just here in case anything floats past, like, and we shoot it." And I'm going, just put my foot in the water.
Alligators.
What's going on? Snakes. Never swam so quick across the river.
It's such I'm saying. It's real, isn't it? You know, you're doing them. You know, it's just about. Would you never ever say to like the people who want to join the army? What was the experience like itself?
The experience was seeing the culture and going off the camp, and like, you go to a place called Belize City and go out to the little quays. There's something you'd never ever do or you'd ever see if you're in civilian life. I've got to be honest, you'd never go and visit them little parts. It was fantastic.
So a lad from the Woodchurch is suddenly in this, like, you know, Belize City,
on these little islands, driving a little golf buggy around, and drinking like rum and stuff like that, and going swimming in the blue sea.
So I can't Eddie Kinez down.
He's good.
He loved his cars.
He used to take us home in that Renault GT Turbo, get home in 3 hours.
So I'm going to say, so from Belize, okay, you come back to the battalion.
Yeah.
Tell us about what happened next.
We had a couple of months then back in the battalion, but we've been took off public duties, so I was just like settling in still. But Belize was good for me.
Good bonding,
yeah, to get to know people a bit more and
de-sprogging yourself.
And then a few new lads come then, because I shared a room with a lad called Barnsey, and he was from New Zealand. So I'm sitting in a 2-man room in a Liverpool Manchester regiment with a lad who's doing a hacker every morning of Barnsey, and I was like,
"What's you mean hacker?"
Yeah, he did all that. He used to teach me the hacker. And he was a good skin.
Just the drugs.
He was a good skin. He was a good lad, and then I just remember. We went to the gym one day, everyone got called, and then all Chinese whispers started. And then we get in, and I'm sitting behind Tomo.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there like that, and then it comes up and it goes, well, you're going to South Armagh. And I always remember the words out of Tom O's mouth was, few of us might not come back from there. And I was like, you know.
Was he Corporal then, was he?
Yeah,
Tom O, yeah.
I was thinking,
Great
and he'd been before, so he'd had the experience of being before and stuff like that, and losing lads in a battalion.
So South Armagh it's like the countryside. It's on the borders of Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Bandit land.
Bandit country, yeah.
Yeah. And that's when Tom O said about they had this gun called the Barrett. And I'd never heard of that as well, obviously. And he was saying it could take it out from miles away and that. So straight away I'm thinking, oh my God, what's this going to be like? You know,
sniper rifle,
yeah.
The Barrett, yeah.
Yeah.
Range, or like 2 kilometres or something, or even more.
I think it was just coming where they were trying to get a ceasefire going. But I remember the lad in Besbrook who'd just been shot just before we went. He'd be killed.
So what did your mum think at the time? Or was you're going back?
She's going, oh, you don't want to be going there, you know, you're not going back. Yeah, you're not going back, like, you got a choice, yeah. And she was really,
playing,
yeah, she's...
Because the families get that, what people don't realise, it affects them all.
Stressful, yeah,
stressful all.
She sent me a little bluey every day with just a little cup, you know, them little blue thin airmail things.
Yeah, blueies, yeah.
Yeah, blueies, she sent me
good
one.
toilet paper. So you get to South Armagh, you flew in, was it a Chinook double helicopter?
From Belfast, goes in, gets to Besbrook Mill, gets on another helicopter, and then we went to Forkhill. I was in Forkhill and in the Golf Towers.
So you're saying there were towers, like massive towers, like just overlooking?
Yeah, they had 3 big hills, so say 4 hills in the middle, you had 3 big watch towers, and then you could oversee everything. And protect the camp as well. Okay,
so in them towers, you know, and whatever, what was your routine then, just to show what?
You'd have your rest, and then you'd have obviously in a tower. There was 2 towers, and I was in the back sanga with Brewy. Me and Brewy, we spent a lot of time together. Which that was interesting. Brewy used to box for the battalion and stuff like that. And he's an interesting character. Like,
so as you said, you get to know them, you get into bonding. And
yeah, spending like 4 hours on watch, and then I think you had like 6 to 8 hours off.
Okay.
And then you just rotate. So you do 2 weeks at the towers.
Yeah.
2 weeks patrolling, and then 2 weeks guard on the camp, and that was your routine.
Was the patrolling really, as you said on your bullet notes, it's scary? Like you go out and you know you get shot from every angle.
Yeah, I think the patrolling one was the more scary out of everything.
Booby traps, bombs.
Yeah.
Getting shot at, getting set up. You know?
Yeah, you just looking over your shoulder constant, as you know, Jeff. It's you're just permanently on your toes, and it is quite frightening, I think, because you know, you're living on the edge, aren't you? It's like anything can happen.
And you know yourself, because I don't know if you know, but the terrorists, they could be sitting in Southern Ireland, on which you cannot fire back unless it was the rules you couldn't. So they could shoot you, but you couldn't shoot back.
Yeah.
So you're like walking ducks. Wow, wow.
And the border's like one road, and that's them, and that's you. It's crackers.
So anyway, you've done 6 months, is that right?
6 months tour, yeah.
6 months tour. Flew back to London,
and then we had the Christmas off and stuff like that. And then come the January, February, the battalion got told they were going to Cyprus the next year. But just before that, there was a tour that come up that the QLR needed help in Bosnia. And I volunteered to go with that because I was really keen at the time. So I went to Bosnia then and done 6 months in Bosnia.
Now that was horrendous, what I see, because you actually tell us about it.
Yeah, we joined with the Queen's Lancashire Regiment, went to Bulford, and we got our Saxons. It was with Pete Solly and Bats, Chunky, all great characters again. And to be honest with you, it was a really good time. We had a little bond because we were helping the Queen's Lancashire Regiment, but we were just a Kingo wagon, just in this Saxon, just full of Kingos.
So just based the Kingos, but it was prior to that, where there was like that, lads were coming back with horrific things that they've seen, like, you know, families and people, children, so like.
Well, that's what do it over there,
Kills.
Jeff. I've got to be honest. They were trying to wipe each other out. They weren't trying to fight a war. It was genocide. They were trying to kill each other. So there was a lot of death about. Like it was about there. So.
A couple of lads that went, I think, previous, they suffer from obviously the PTSD from what they've seen. And
we were coming towards the end, and they had this thing called the ZOS, the Zone of Separation. So they split it where the Serbs were still trying to get at the Croats, and we were patrolling all that. We still seen a couple of things like, but it was mainly. Like
the closing,
it was good though.
So that's it's good experience, So you safely returned from Bosnia, and then what about the football? When did you start getting into
I played a couple of games, just 1 or 2 games in Hounslow, but like I said, we're going to Ireland and we're going to Bosnia. It wasn't really.
So you're thinking that the fella in the recruitment office, he was a liar?
Oh yeah, he showed me a good story though.
He showed you one. Okay then, stand by for part 3 when we go into the footballing side of the man, Jay Aldcroft.